Hey y'all. It finally let me on. Thank you, Jesus. Hey y'all. I'm back, loud, proud, and good to be on here. I don't know what's going on, but y'all, I've been having trouble here. I done tried to come on like 3 times. Welcome y'all to Lovely J Podcast with Miss Coco. And now it won't even let me get back to... Oh my goodness. It won't let me get back to where I need to get to. Let me see. What is really going on here? This is foolish. Y'all, this topic is too juicy. That's what it is. It's too juicy. I'm going to be cooking and talking at the same time. Y'all know how we do here. We love doing that. We love a good chat and fry. I don't know. Let me see. If I can't get back to where I'm supposed to be, I don't know how much of that is going to go on. So I guess I'm going to just trust what I'm seeing right here, because it's not letting me go backwards. Hit double tap sliders. I'm trying to get moved back to where I'm supposed to be on this podcast. Okay, but I can see if my mic is on. And my mic is on. So again, guys, welcome. This is a good Saturday. And I feel good because I just washed my hair. And y'all know how it is when we wash our hair. We feel all brand new. I feel all brand new, okay? And it's not often that I get to wash my hair because my hair is that 4C hair. And I told y'all I don't like, I wash it, but it's not like an everyday wash. It's black people wash. No offense, hopefully, but it's black people wash. Okay, so this is explicit, right? This is explicit content, which means not suitable for 18 and under. Disclaimer, I don't claim to know, I'm no doctor or anything like that. I'm just somebody who just happened to been studying on the subject. And it really caught my eye because it's sleepwalking. Okay. Now, what I need to do first? First thing I need to do is, I already got my flour and cornmeal mixed up. But I'm going to get this stuff together first. I know y'all be like, why don't she do it before she come on here? But no, because then that takes away from the process the experience I want y'all to have with me. So no, I've got an eggplant here. Y'all know I love eggplants. I love me a good eggplant fried. I got it from the Walmart. I'm just going to pull this sticker off of it that says it's from Cottle Farms eggplant. Aubergine. It's got the Spanish word for it, but I can't say it. I don't know how to say that, so I'm gonna leave that alone. Let me tap, see if this thing gonna let me go back again. Oh, that's all I had to do was hit OK. This whole time I've been tapping, and it was a button down there that said OK. Okay, we're not gonna go to... Nope. Miss Coco, chill out now. Don't let that hair wash go to your head. Okay. Great topic, though. Great topic. I want to share this out to some of the... Let's see. Yeah. I don't know. Do I want to share this out? Or shall I let people find it on their own? Y'all see my thumbnail? In my thumbnail, I took this picture. I have a pine tree growing on the side of my house. And I just let it grow. I have not tried to cut it down or anything. I do have some supplies here to cut it down with. But y'all know I've been sore. So I ain't been able to do the work the way I want to. And as a single woman, I have to just make do how I can make do. Alright, let me wipe this eggplant down. Ooh, what is that? Looks like a piece of my eggplant has been cut off. Y'all know my favorite part of the eggplant is the skin. That skin, if you fry it really crispy, it does taste like fish. A little bit. Now, I don't have no sauce or anything to make my eggplant taste like fish. Because if I wanted fish, I'd do fish. I just love fried eggplant. It's one of my mama's great dishes she used to make when we were kids. Me and my sister Cammie, we would slip in the... we'd go into her eggplants. We'd slip in there and we basically was stealing us some eggplants before everybody else got to eat them. We'd go ahead and eat them. So this eggplant got a little bad spot on it. But we ain't going to worry about that. We're going to go ahead and take that little bad spot off. Yeah. So what happened, what brought this topic up that I'm going to be doing is, it was in a psychology book that I started reading it. I can't remember how I cut these eggplants. Ooh. How did I cut them eggplants? What happened? Okay, we're gonna cut this. I was reading in a psychology book, and that psychology book really. Okay, I got it now. I got it cut right. I like to cut my eggplant a little thin. That way, it gives it more crisp. Y'all know I'm jumping back and forth from talking about the eggplant and talking about what my subject is. But I was reading in a book, and it was talking about different sleep disorders. And that sleep disorder thing really got me because I never heard of somebody murdering somebody. Explicit content, like I told you. I never heard of somebody murdering somebody in their sleep before. Now, if you know people that sleepwalk, you know that if you wake them up, it's a chance that you could really get beat down. Waking somebody up in their sleep. Do I want to leave these whole? Yeah, I'm going to leave them whole. Now listen, I'm going to tell y'all about this eggplant. When you cut them down, I don't like the seed part. I mean, the seeds are good when you eat them, but they just look nasty. So that's why I go ahead and just kind of wipe mine out of there. So there's a story about a man named Kenneth Parks. And Kenneth Parks is a married man. He's happily married, no cheating, has no reason on earth to kill anybody. I mean, he's just, your average Joe. He's got regular stresses, and on a particular day, he got stressed out. And with the stressing out, he ended up doing some sleepwalking. And when he did the sleepwalking, he ended up murdering some people. And there was a trial done and everything on it about him, murdering. I think that's the story of the one that murdered his in-laws. I do not like these seeds. They so ugly. These seeds are ugly. So I'm going to cut them out. If you can't rub them out fast enough, you can cut them out. But if y'all give me just a second here, I'll pull that article up, because right now I got gloves on my hands. But then as I was reading in the psychology book, we'll come back to Kenneth Parks when I can pull the article up. But I want to talk more on SEXSOMNIA. I was reading because some people will go to sleep and they'll masturbate in their sleep and don't even know it. Or they may initiate sex with somebody and don't even know that they're initiating sex. And a perfect example of that is, it was a house episode. Y'all remember Dr. House? Okay, well, there was an episode where House had a woman that came in there, and she was always like, somebody's doing something to me, and y'all give me a second here. I'm sorry, guys. No, that's not right. I gotta get my seasonings together. Don't want it to taste sweet. No. Oh yeah, this is gonna be good. Okay, I got lemon pepper. This is gonna be lemon pepper eggplants. That's right, I had brought some lemon pepper seasoning. Now on that episode of House, there was a woman that came in and she complained of vaginal soreness and, you know, anal soreness and things of that such. And Dr. House said, give her an examination. And the woman turned up. She had just divorced her husband, and she turned out to be pregnant. Now this woman, she told Dr. House, she said, I have not had sex since my divorce. And the divorce had actually been for maybe 6 or 7 months. And she said, I haven't had sex since then. So how am I pregnant? Oh man, that. And, you know, he tells her, y'all know House got a smart mouth. He said, well, you know why you're pregnant. You're obviously having sex. And she said, no, I'm not having sex. And she swears up and down she's not having sex to be pregnant. I mean, she's serious about that thing. And they run tests on her, and she's, you know, she really is pregnant. Okay, what goes on next is she comes back to the house again. She said, look, I've got these marks, these bruises on my back and on my knees. On my back. Did she say knees? No, I think it was just the back. My bad, y'all. I think it was just the back. I might have got carried away with that story. But she said, I got these bruises on my back. House takes a look at them and say, yeah, they're consistent with carpet burns from having sex on the floor. And again, she swears up and down that she's not having sex with anybody. Now, mind you, that her ex lives right down below her. They live in the same apartment complex. So he's right there still, right there where he can, you know, get good access to her. And he's not raping her or anything. Y'all, I'm pouring seasonings if you hear me just screwing stuff on and off. Don't let go good screwing. Okay, let me stop. That was corny, right? But it was a little funny. Lemon pepper. So next time, this is what happens. The ex-husband says, I had a good time with you last night. She's like, what you talking about? He said, I had a good time with you last night. She's clueless as to what he's talking about. And then he said, we had sex. Ooh, this lemon pepper is fresh. He said we had sex. That's what he told her. And she was like, no. And he said, yes, we did. We had sex. You came down here. And then you went back. So this woman, turns out this woman was sleepwalking and having sex. That's what she was doing. She was sleepwalking and having sex. She had a sleep disorder that she wasn't aware of. And this sleep disorder, because she was really stressed out. And they say this happens to those who get really stressed out that they will start having sex and not even know that that's what they're doing. So that's similar to what sexsomnia is whenever you are having sexual activities while you are sleeping. And you see how that can get you in trouble, right? Well, there was also 2 guys and a couple other cases over I don't think it was the United States. I want to say BBC. I gotta have a swallow of water. No, a swallow of green tea. Because this black pepper is really serious. It's in the lemon powder. Lemon pepper. So it's really serious right about now. But I think these guys are in the UK, where they had their first cases of this. And them guys, they were actually accused of raping people. They were accused of raping people because they was not aware that they was really that they were having sex in their sleep. So what ended up happening with these guys, they got off of rape. The charges got dismissed. They were found not guilty of raping the woman or the women because of this sleeping disorder, because they were asleep when it happened, which means they was not conscious of what was going on. And because when they would come out of it, they'd be like, I don't know what happened. You know how I get here. I was home asleep. You know, it startles them to see that they done did something that they're not aware of. Now, y'all, I like to cook my eggplant in. If you want a good coat on your eggplant, jump into the food right quick. Dip it in egg batter before you put it in your flour mixture. I don't know why my thing cuts off. That just pisses me off. Okay. So I'm mixing this egg up here. Then we're going to start the dipping process. Then y'all going to start hearing some frying, because my grease is already heating up. And you know what? Let me push it back over there. Because, I just wasted my egg mixture. I'm doing too much at one time. It's okay. No, it's not okay. I wasn't intending on wasting it. And then have to clean it up. Get another egg. Taking away from my topic. Oh, sorry. Y'all ever got an egg that wasn't a good one? I may not have no eggs to dip this in. Oh, please let this egg be some good. Yes. Ooh, I almost threw up. And y'all almost heard me. Because I'm one of... Oh, no. I'm one of them with the weak stomachs. All right. Let me mix this egg up. Now, getting back to that them guys, they raped women, but they wasn't conscious of what they were doing. Therefore, the court did not find them guilty of the rape or the sexual assaults. And that is a hard thing, and it's hard to tell, when somebody is telling the truth or telling a lie. Now, the story with Kenneth Parks, when he murdered his, I think it was his in-laws he murdered. When he murdered his in-laws, the one thing that saved him when he went to court was that he was unaware of what he did. And how they knew he was unaware of what he did? Because he had lacerations on his hands and he didn't even feel it. He didn't even feel the cuts. He just snapped out of it and he was like, oh my God, I think I murdered somebody. Y'all ever been like that? You ever had sexual activity and didn't realize that's what you were doing? Okay, let me turn my grease down a little bit. That mug ready. Y'all hear it? Have you ever been like that before in your life? Because I was talking to a person and I was telling them that people who have been through sexual traumas, rapes, molestations, they go through spouts of that type of sleep disorder. And sometimes those people can, have an addiction to masturbation because of that trauma. And sometimes when you see these people that are accused of rapes and things, they've had a bad life themselves. You think about the Mendez brothers too. The Mendez brothers, I think they're up for parole to see if they're going to get paroled out. And they say that their father was molesting them the whole time. And people are coming forward now in their family talking about how the father would keep one of them, I think it was the one named Eric. He would keep him closed off on the whole floor in their house. And he would forbid others to go up there to that floor while he was up there with Eric. Now, as a result of that, now Eric and them didn't sleepwalk. But they killed both their parents because of that sexual abuse that they alleged happened. I can't say if it happened or not, but they said it happened. And they seem to have family members that agree with them that say that it happened. So I don't know. Okay, but I do know now that I can get my hands out of this a little bit, maybe now I can go to the articles. Okay. Let me make sure I got everything so I don't have to be going through any extras here. Alright, so I'm going to read y'all what SEXSOMNIA is. I got to go to the article. So the meaning of SEXSOMNIA is also known as sleep sex. It is a sleep disorder that involves engaging in sexual activity while asleep. It's a type of parasomnia, which is an abnormal behavior that occurs during sleep. And this article comes off Google, by the way. If you want to find out more about it, it's in the It's from the Sleep Foundation. Okay, what else it says? SEXSOMNIA can involve sexual behaviors that are outside of a person's normal behavior, or it can involve their normal sexual behavior. People with SEXSOMNIA are usually unaware that they are engaging in these behaviors and they're unintentional. SEXSOMNIA episodes typically occur during non-rapid eye movement sleep, which is the deepest dreamless stage of sleep. Triggers for SEXSOMNIA can include stress, exhaustion, and sleeping conditions. SEXSOMNIA is often underdiagnosed because people may be embarrassed or ashamed to admit to these behaviors. If someone else witnesses a SEXSOMNIA episode, they can write down what they saw to help a doctor diagnose the condition. Treatment for SEXSOMNIA depends on the underlying cause, but may include medication, improving sleep hygiene, and reducing stress and triggers. Okay, I hope y'all got that. So you see, it doesn't come from this SEXSOMNIA right here. It's not from somebody who's just hypersexually active, but it's actually a sleeping disorder that causes the person to engage in sex. That is crazy. Why did my pen cut off? Y'all, my pen cut off while I was cooking. See, now that's stress. But I'm sitting here, just imagine that this may have happened to some of you, that you have been laying in bed beside your loved one or whoever you with. You know, people don't always lay with their loved ones, but they may lay with their booty call or whatever. And you're laying there and all of a sudden this person is trying to have sex with you, and you're like, is this for real? They're trying to have sex with you, and then you give in and you do have full out sex. But they say the difference between SEXSOMNIA and somebody who is conscious of their sex, a person who has SEXSOMNIA, they don't master, they don't get all the way to we call it a nut, but you know, they don't get all the way to the climax of it. Instead, they'll just stop and go on back to sleep or act like it never happened. So that could be very frustrating. I watched a video on it, and the woman said he always climbed on top of me and wanted to have sex, but he never would finish. And for her, that was frustrating, and they ended up breaking up. Because I watched several videos on YouTube about it before I came on, because I didn't want to, you know, just be thinking it was a topic that sound nasty or explicit. But it's really a health condition. It's a sleep disorder. And just imagine how many women or men are left unsatisfied because they think that this person is really having sex with them, and the whole time they're asleep, but they're fully functioning as if, you know, this is what they want. But they're not. But it's not. That's very interesting. And on them cases, let's see if I can find those cases. I'm going to see if I can find it. At least one of the cases. Okay, here's one here. Woman wins payout after SEXSOMNIA rape case dropped. Ooh. And this is coming from the BBC. I told you know what? The BBC they have so much more knowledge in things than we do over here. It's like whatever they come out with, it goes on over there first, and then all of a sudden we follow behind in the U.S. But if you check out some of the BBC articles and the TV channels, they really have a lot of helpful information concerning health and diseases and mental health. They have a lot. And they are a much healthier country than we are. Okay, so this was August 15th, 2024. A woman has received $35,000 in compensation after her rape case was dropped amid claims she could have had an episode of SEXSOMNIA. J. Blue McCrossin, I don't want to go down there and cut that video off. J. Blue McCrossin, neither caught. Never heard of that kind of name. 32 contacted police in 2017, telling them she thought she had been raped while asleep. She said she had woken up half naked, finding her necklace broken on the floor. But the charges were dropped by the Crown Prosecution Service, which is CPS, days before a trial was due to begin after lawyers for the alleged perpetrator claimed Jade had SEXSOMNIA, a medically recognized but rare sleep disorder that causes a person to engage in sexual acts while asleep. Jade has received compensation from the CPS, which said it has apologized unseverely. Okay, let me keep going. It added that it was committed to improving every aspect of how life-changing crimes like rape are dealt with. Jade said the CPS had taken me to the darkest points of my life and that it felt like a big triumph to be able to hold them accountable. Her lawyers from the Center for Women's Justice said it was extremely rare for the CPS to make a payout like this. And then it says, world turned upside down. In 2017, after a night out with friends, this is telling what happened. 2017, after a night out with friends, Jay woke up on the sofa with a feeling she had been raped while she slept. Within hours, she had reported it to the police. The suspect offered no comment when questioned, and the CPS made the decision to charge him with rape. But in 2020, just days before the trial was due to start, Jade was told by the CPS her rape case would not be taken to trial because the defense had claimed she had experienced an episode of SEXSOMNIA. Oh, that's bad. So what they're saying is that the guy raped her and then claimed that she had SEXSOMNIA as his defense. Oh my goodness. Jay said she did not have SEXSOMNIA. However, sleep experts were not able to rule out the possibility that she could have had an isolated episode on the night of the incident. Despite never appearing before a jury, the defendant was formally acquitted, leaving the case unable to be reopened without compelling new evidence. In 2021, oh, y'all hold up. Talking to y'all. Did I tell y'all these fry kind of quick? In 2021, Jade lodged an appeal via the CPS victims' right to review the system. In response, she received a letter of apology from a chief Crown prosecutor, independent of CPS department that made the original decision to close her case. They admitted the CPS was wrong in closing her case, saying it should instead have been taken to trial. Yeah, it should have been taken to trial. They should have paid her, because you cannot sit there and say that somebody did not get raped based upon some a witness or the accuser saying, no, she had an episode of SEXSOMNIA. Now, people who know this type of disorder, sleep disorder that exists, they will use this. If they're going to save their butt from going to jail, yeah, they'll use it. But that is so wrong. They dismissed her. Y'all, hold up if I bring on the second half, because I'm here. I got to get some more eggplants to go in. Hey, you know what? I don't have many eggplants. Oh, that one. I'm going to be pissed off with that one. That one there's got a lot of seeds. Alright. I'll be right back with y'all after I get this in there. Get these ready. I hope these taste good. Now that cornmeal do smell like fish frying. I ain't doing no pictures or videos of it because I'm just hungry. Plus y'all already know what it looks like. Alright, I'm good to go again. Okay, let's read where we leave off. Jay described the CPS decisions during this time as more damaging to her than the right of the indecent incident, saying the legal process had turned her world upside down. She said her decision to sue the CPS was motivated by wanting accountability and to ensure similar mistakes were not made again in these kind of rape cases. For me, it's not about the financial side of things. I'm very much wanting to push for systematic changes with the CPS and the legal system, advocating for better training, policies, procedures, and practices, she said. She added, it has taken a lot from me, but I held on to a lot of positives. I am really proud of the work that both myself and the Century for Women's Justice have done to get to this point. If you have been affected by any of the issues raised in this article, help and advice can be found. Oh, yeah. Let me go and skip that. Hold up. Let me check this. Not ready. Kay Ellis' joint litigation led at the Century Women's Justice said claims brought by victims against the CPS are legally difficult with payouts extremely rare. She said Jay's was the first case she was aware of in which a rape victim had been awarded compensation by the CPS over a decision to discontinue a case before trial. It's a testament to how severe the failing was on the part of the CPS that we have been able to bring this claim, she added. Let's see here. In the year to March 24, 65,913 rape cases were recorded by police in England and Wales, excluding Devon and Cornwall police. Of these cases, just 2.6 have so far resulted in a suspect being charged or receiving a summons, according to the Home Office figures. Man, that's not a lot. So that means they got a lot of rapists running free over there. A spokesperson for the CPS said a settlement has been reached with Miss Crossan Nethercott, to whom we have apologized unreversibly, and we continue to wish her the very best going forward. How can you wish somebody the best going forward when you didn't victimize them, re-traumatize them, after they came to you for help and you dismissed them? No. I went through that similar thing, but my story is different from hers. Jada said, we remain positive about the progress being made and recognize there is still a long way to go to improve outcomes for victims so more people can come forward and report with confidence. Jay says she was still waiting to hear from the CPS about the lessons it has learned from the case. She said she hoped her story would inspire others to raise their voices. We must hold these agencies accountable, and we've done it now, she added. Wow. It says, when unexpected sleepwalking claims turns a rape case on its head, Jade fights back, filmed over 3 years ago. So you know, you just put yourself in her place, in her position. A woman goes to a party, she wakes up, her pants is down, and somebody says, well, you initiated it while you was high or while you was asleep. That still wouldn't give a person no right to, take advantage of a person's body like that. We have people like that in this world. They're just mean, they're nasty, they're cruel. They don't care who they hurt. They don't care what you got to go through. I'm taking some of these out now. Let me add some more in. And on the other hand, not saying on Jay's case, but if this is, this disorder is in the DSM-5 manual for mental health. It's in there amongst sleep disorders. And for those who do go through that, just imagine how horrible that is for them. Because it was this one case I read on where the man had to be locked in a room. He was ordered by the court. Now this was an order by the court not to sleep in the room with anybody. Because he was doing it. And so, he was, the only reason why he got out of it was because it was a disorder, but he had to sign an agreement that he would not sleep in the room near nobody, and the doors had to be locked, and he had to have some other things too to help protect the others that may be around him. That's scary. That's scary. It is. You wake up and you find somebody masturbating beside you, and you think they are awake doing it. I'm trying to think, have I ever seen that happen before? The only time I've seen that happen, because I have seen that happen, come to think about it, but the only time I've seen that happen is when somebody was drunk. They were real drunk. It was men. It was always men I saw do it. They would be real drunk and they would do similar acts of that. And by the way, that is not the same thing as having SEXSOMNIA. If you're drunk and you're grabbing your private parts and masturbating in front of people, then that is indecent indecent liberties. That's what you're doing. That's not the same thing as SEXSOMNIA. So if you hear this podcast and think you can use that as an excuse to just take advantage of people, no, you cannot. It's a difference. One is a disorder and one is induced by alcohol. And I don't like either one of them. But I used to see men do that all the time. We would go somewhere, say like, back in the day, we had a lot of bootleggers around. And at the bootlegger's house, you always, I don't care what bootlegger house you go to, you always got this one that's going to be inappropriate with women, with young girls. Don't matter who it is. They the one that don't care. They the one that gets sloppy drunk and will whip their thing out anywhere they can. In that case, that is sexual harassment, and it could be seen, depending on what they do, as sexual assault or intentional rape. But with SEXSOMNIA, it's not intentional. It's not intentional. Now, going to jump from that and talk about the sleepwalking murders. Now, the sleepwalking murder, let me go and pull his story up. The one named Kenneth Parks is the one that I was more interested in. Okay, so Kenneth Parks, his obliviousness to pain and strong family history of parasomnias led experts to testify that Parks had been sleepwalking during the attack. It appears as though the victims had found Parks wandering around in the house, and in the attempting to restrain him provoked the attack. Parks was acquitted of the murder, and this article is coming from sleepforensicmedicine.org. Okay, so now what this case was, Parks, he had no reason to kill his in-laws. Let me read the top of this. Let me just read the top of it. Okay. Deadly dreams. Detectives discover a historical precedent for killing while sleepwalking. A Toronto man, Kenneth Parks, was acquitted of the murder. And this Dateline covered this story. MSNBC, they covered this story. It's a lot. ABC News covered this story. It was so many covered this story. How did we miss it? Okay. because sometimes we don't pay attention to things like this. But it says this is a leading Supreme Court of Canada decision on the criminal automatism defense. In 1987, Kenneth Parks, a 23-year-old married father, arose from the couch where he had fallen asleep in front of the TV, put on his coat, and drove 14 miles to the house of his in-laws. There he strangled his father-in-law until unconscious, and then bludgeoned his mother-in-law with a tire iron before stabbing them both with a kitchen knife. The woman died. The man barely survived. From all accounts, Parks had been very close with his in-laws and seemed to lack motive for the attack. However, Parks was recently unemployed and under a lot of stress. The evening of the attack, he may have been thinking about visiting his in-laws the following day with his wife to tell them about his financial and gambling problems. After the attack, Parks got in his car and drove to a police station confused. He appeared oblivious to the fact that he severed tendons in both of his hands. His oblivious to pain and strong family history of parasitas led experts to testify that Parks had been sleepwalking during the attack. It appears as though the victims had found Parks wandering around in their house and in attempting to restrain him provoked the attacks. Parks was acquitted of the murder, not conscious, not responsible, not guilty. Now, how many of you do you agree with that? Because he wasn't aware of what he was doing, he's not guilty. Now, if you've ever been around somebody that sleepwalks, it's hilarious. It's funny because they're doing things that they don't know they're doing, and that's why we laugh sometimes about it. I got sleepwalkers in my family. It runs in the family. And when they would be sleepwalking, I would laugh, and all of us in the family would laugh because it was funny until you try to wake them up. If you try to wake a person up who is sleepwalking, they will hurt you. Their strength is 2-3 times what a normal strength of a regular person that's awake would be. That's how strong they are. Because whatever's going on in that brain that's active, because it's like one side of the brain is active, and that's the side that's telling them, you need to get up and do this and do that. And that part of the brain is active, and the other part of the brain is sleep, which means the sleep part of the brain has no idea that they're up. The part of the brain that can make a reasonable decision between right and wrong. That part of the brain is sleep. I've seen it firsthand. When I would try to wake up people who were sleepwalking, I got hit, I got kicked, and it was very painful. That was a painful experience. So just imagine, he's a grown man and he had on his mind going to talk to his in-laws. And that's probably why he drove over to see his in-laws. That's probably why he drove on to see them. Because he had them on his mind. That was the last thing he had on his mind. And stress will prompt somebody to do sleepwalking, sleep talking if they're stressed out. Sometimes that is what happens. So in his case, he was found not guilty because one of the things that saved him was the fact that his hands were cut open and he didn't even feel it. He didn't even realize it. He just knew he had killed somebody, but he wasn't even, the pain from that did not bother him because he was still unconscious to what was going on. He wasn't conscious to it. He wasn't present in the moment mentally because that side of the brain was still asleep. So anything that was happening, he just going through the motions, not knowing, and he didn't have no control of it. That's why he was found not guilty. Now there was another man who killed his wife. He claimed he was sleepwalking. He didn't got up and killed his wife. I want to say, did he stab her or hit her in the head? I'm not sure what he did with him. But anyway, the neighbor saw him drowning her. At first, the neighbors thought that he was trying to just, they thought that they was out there for a night swim around 9 o'clock at night, and until they saw him pushing her head under the water and wasn't letting her up to breathe. So that was a pure out murder. And the reason why they found him guilty and the sleepwalking defense did not work for him is because the neighbor also saw him when he made a mistake. He started talking to the dogs. He signaled for the dogs to lay down. And you know, if a person is sleepwalking, they don't really hear you like that. That's why they don't respond to you, because that side of reasonable mind and conscious mind is really asleep. The only side that's working is the motor skill side. That was good, though. Studying that was good. I'm not saying that's good what he did, but studying it was pretty good. Yeah. So you already know, if you get around people that are like that, you know, if you marry somebody or you're in a relationship with somebody like that, they may grab you. I'm not saying it's a bad thing. Most of the time, sleepwalkers are harmless. If you leave them alone, let them run their course or whatever they do, as long as they ain't a danger to themselves or others. If you just leave them alone, they'll wake up on their own, or either they'll go get back in the bed. I know. I used to be a sleepwalker when I was a kid, and I would wake up. Sometimes I'd be on top of this tall dresser. I was a climber, though. When I was sleepwalking, I like climbing high things. So I would get up there, wake up. One time my mom and daddy said, "You didn't feel that whipping?" I was like, "What whipping?" They were like, "Oh, you got tore up last night." I was like, I don't know nothing about it, because I wasn't conscious to that. It's amazing how the mind works and how it protects itself, and it's awesome. All right. Well, that's all I got to say on that. I just thought it was nice to talk about it, something different, something of interest that most people don't even think about, sleepwalking and SEXSOMNIA. I only thought about SEXSOMNIA because going through a lot of sexual trauma, I can't name how many times I have been raped. I really lost count. I have faces that do come to me. And this is my testimony here. I do have faces that come to me at certain times, and I was doing a documenting thing because I had got to a place where I had this. It was I don't know how you call it, but I don't know how to say it. But it was certain pains that I would have to have in order to get through the day. That was something I never really talked about, was those pains. Because my body had got so used to being traumatized and just beat on. And, you know, I guess after you've been raped so many times, your body takes that on, and in order to get rid of certain feelings and to feel somewhat normal, you have to let your body go through a certain process to get back to your normal self, even when nobody's around you. Yeah, even when nobody's around you. And for me, that was really hard. It was really hard seeing myself go through that. And I was aware of what was going on, but sometimes you can't stop it. And then once you get into that trance, like, once you get into that trance, like, it's really hard to come up out of it until you get to that place where you feel safe. That's all I can say, is where you feel safe. And that safety for me wouldn't be until whoever had raped me had their orgasm. Or either, I don't know, it's a certain feeling in my body that I got to get to get myself back right. And I fight it. I still deal with it to this day. But I don't think that's SEXSOMNIA. I think that's just trauma related because the SEXSOMNIA comes on from stress and things. I think what I go through it comes on from that trauma that's associated with my body. Any of you that have ever been through it, I sympathize with you, and, God got us all. And, those of you who have got justice and spoke up for yourself, you are the real MVP, because you have paved the way for the rest of us. And those of us that are like me, in the category with me, we speak up, but we're not heard. We may not be heard by man, but we are heard by God. And I do firmly believe that God is going to, his justice is way more than anything that we could do. Even though I would like to see the laws do their job and investigating things. It's just like the woman said, the CPS, which is basically the law up there where they was at the BBC, they brushed her off. They said it's SEXSOMNIA. You woke up and you had an episode, maybe it's a one-time episode you had, and you initiated the sex. That's what they blame the woman. Yeah. They blamed her. And I feel like in some ways, that's what Montgomery County has done to me. They have blamed me for what has happened, because the first thing they said to me was, make sure you lock your door. And it sounded like a threat when the woman told me that. She said, are you locking your doors? Be sure to lock your doors. She didn't even sound like she was concerned about what I had just told her. I had just said, hey, I think I've been raped. I think I've been knocked out and raped. And I told her that I woke up and I had blood, and that wasn't normal. And I was really sore. But you know what? After it happened, I didn't tell them right then that it happened. It took me 4 months. It took me 4 months to pull myself together. I stayed in my bed the whole time, and I was sore. And it took me about 2 months to heal. And I don't even feel like parts of me is still healed on account of that. I feel like I'm really burnt. I don't know if it's the seasoning caused my little eggplants to look dark, but I'm still gonna eat it. Yeah, so she was treated unfairly. Her case was dismissed, and mine was too. And I'm pretty sure that, with the violence we have going on now in America, that there are plenty of areas where plenty of people are being drugged and laced and knocked out, and somebody somewhere is using that defense, using sleepwalking defense, or trying to fool the person into saying, you gave it to me. You don't remember because you was high. We was at a party. You was smoking. I was smoking. Well, I wasn't smoking when that happened to me. I wasn't drinking or anything. I was in my bed just knocked out. I couldn't move. It was like I was paralyzed. I couldn't come out of the bedroom. Even if I wanted to come out of the bedroom, I couldn't, because whatever drug I had been given made me lethargic. All I could do was just lay there and just feel heavy. Just look at the walls. Try to hold my private parts, because it felt like they were tearing apart. I just tried to hold them as much as I could. But too, that's why I do this podcast, because I know there's some parts of me that still have to heal. And sometimes topics like this help me to heal because it helps bring understanding, and it's a testament of someone else's testimony where they overcame, which lets me know that we can overcome too. Now, having said all that good stuff and read all about that, I am done and ready to eat. And let me go get some cheese. Let me fix this thing the way I'm going to fix it. I have to come in here to get the cheese. Fry me a tortilla to go with it. I have some salsa here that I'm gonna eat with it. Yeah, I think I will. But I never knew things like that existed. Alright. What? I'm gonna fry these tortillas. And we're gonna end in a few minutes so I can eat. But if y'all ever feel like that someone has messed with you and you didn't give permission, don't sit there and think that every case is a case of SEXSOMNIA, because it's not. We just really do have some evil people out here. And even hearing them testify to that, it still makes it hard for me to even believe that. Even though I know what I know about sleepwalkers. Still makes it hard to believe that, they can rape somebody and get off with it like that. Like, how many other cats are going to use that as an example to rape, as an excuse to rape somebody, knowing that they don't have that? That would be my biggest fear, is that somebody would take advantage of that disorder just so they could get away with harming women, children, and others. That's my only thing with that. It's not a clear defense for me. Even though I know sleepwalkers are dangerous and things, it's just some of it, I would really have to be there. I would have to see their face. I couldn't go by their voice or anything. I would have to see their face so I could get a feel for what their spirit is. That would help me in cases like that. Alright, y'all. So I'm going to go ahead and get off of here. And y'all, thanks for listening to Lovely J Podcast. I don't know how y'all feeling about these explicit episodes, because they're a little bit more deeper and more kind of focused on just really being more transparent, I would say, than just sitting back and, withholding words and stuff. On the explicit podcast, I can say things like this, but on the regular podcast, I cannot talk like this. Peace, love, and happiness. Y'all go have yourself a good time. I'm finna watch me some Prime videos. Unlikely Angel, I'm finna watch some Christmas movies. Love y'all.